Good evening and welcome to the One Hub Racing Prospect Tier round 10, and of course the final round takes us to the Autodromo Internazionale Dino e Enzo Ferrari, or Enzo e Dino Ferrari. That is Imola, and what a venue to host the last round of the season. I cannot wait for this to begin, most especially because we've got a three-way decider for the Prospect Tier title. Now the championship favourite, that is Fozzie Bear, leads on 110 points. Josh Wilkins, who missed the last round in Austin 2 weeks ago, is second on 109, and Jason, the outside favourite, in third on 100. Now there's a maximum of 21 points up for grabs, so it's anyone's game. And who will be crowned champion here today, we'll soon find out. I'm Tom Kent in the commentary box. Owen White would be with me today, but due to work commitments, he hasn't been able to get that off and join me in the comms. So I will be on my own, but not to be worried. I will give you all the information of which you need during the course of the next hour and a quarter or something like that. Anyway. So looking at what happened last time out in Austin 2 weeks ago, Fozzie Bear managed to come out in the end and take his third win of the season, I believe. Just trying to remember back on previous races that he has won at. Well, looking at the standings anyway, he's already picked up... No, it's his second win of the season. First one was in Bahrain, and the second one was in Austin. He's got 2 wins to his name now as Fozzie Bear. Josh Wilkins has 4, and Jason has 2. And looking at the other results, Jason came home to finish second place. I think he picked up a penalty which cost him the race, winning the closing stages. And then Wace coming home in third for Mercedes. Jamie Met in a fine 4th position, and Infamous picking up his best result of the season in 5th for Red Bull. So in the Constructors' Championship as well, because that's still to be decided, Ferrari have a 22-point lead over Alfa Romeo. They are firm favourites to seal the championship, but let's not rule Alfa Romeo out by any means. Before I go on to any pre-race interviews and press conference answers from the drivers, we just want to mention our sponsors and partners. First off is Next Level Racing, who sponsor the league by providing an NLR Direct Drive stand to support the Driver of the Season award. Freedom Sim Racing, who sponsor the league by providing a pair of the sim racing gloves to the driver with the most combined total of pole positions and fastest laps. Vespa Team, who partner One Hub Racing with the championship prizes, who they support them in that matter. And finally, ERT, who support the Going Gets Tough awards. So if a driver hasn't had the best of seasons, but has done very well in terms of racecraft, for instance, or has done well in qualifying, but not as good in the races, that is what it's there for. So thank you to all our partners and sponsors who have been supporting throughout this season. And to our understanding, One Hub Racing will be taking around about a 3 or 4 month break before it returns in spring 2022. And just looking at the driver's press conference, and Jason was asked if it's been a memorable season for different reasons. How has it been for you, and what will it be looking to do? What will you be looking to do in your final outing for this season? And Jason replied, even if I'm still in the title fight, I just want to have fun and bring it to a good end. Of course, I would like to win the title, but I'm trying my best to win the team championship, and when we do that, that would be more than enough success. Especially because this season is my first real sim racing season, and then I could never have imagined playing such a big role in the title fight. I learned a lot this season, not only in terms of driving, but in general, and I'm already looking forward to season 20, in which I'll definitely be part of it. So Jason coming out there with his thoughts. And going on to some pre-race interviews for the final rounds of the season. And you want to get a... We'll have a look at Josh Wilkins, because he's replied to the pre-race interviews. Well, he's been asked, it's been a couple of weeks since our previous race. Did the extra week to prepare help or hinder your preparations? And Josh basically replied, the extra delay is a lifesaver. I would have been going in blind as I was on holiday the week before. Plus, I had never raced at Imola before, so could experience prevail or hinder Wilkins's hopes. I don't know how much practice he's actually had on the track, but his response to the circuit itself is saying that I have to say Imola's been the most fun track to learn, but the most frustrating track at the same time, which is why the races here are so action-packed. No one is safe unless you're an esports driver. Well, who could blame him saying that? So, just want to find if Fozzie Bear replied to anything. Haven't come across anything on there yet. Currently got 14 drivers involved this evening. One thing for certain is that Stephen is now being disqualified for the whole campaign now. We'll go on to that in a moment, but I just want to find what Fozzie Bear has been saying, if he has responded to the pre-race interview questions. We'll come back to that in a moment whilst we are waiting. But going on to some the incidents on the rundown in terms of the number of incidents that were reported last week. So in the prospect here, looking at how many incidents actually, there were so many. Well, there's only 2, I should say. There were many across the 5 tiers. But there were 2 incidents in total. The first one was involving Demon and Stephen. No further action was taken as the stewards believe that Stephen's pit entry was perfectly legal. No further action will be taken. This is all from Austin 2 weeks ago. And the second one, which is more controversial, was that Stephen was disqualified from season 19 for his calamities with Jess during that one. And the reason for it was that Stephen deliberately turned into Jess at turn 14 after having contact and then continued to drive slowly and weave in front of her. Stephen also hit Jess on multiple occasions later on in the race. The driving standards of Stephen were horrible and dangerous and will not be tolerated in one hub. Therefore, the stewards have decided to disqualify Stephen from the results of season 19. Which is a big shame, not what you want your campaign to be panning out, although Stephen has accumulated enough penalty points as a result of it. Well, he's been disqualified from the season anyway. Normally, it'd be 4 points for a qualifying ban, 6 for a race ban, and 8 for a season disqualification. So just looking to see if Fozzie Bear has replied to the pre-race interview questions, and he didn't do so. Jason has. And in terms of replying to the question, it's been a couple of weeks since our previous race. Did the extra week to prepare help or hinder your preparations? And Jason said, it helped a lot, even if after 300 to 350 laps, I still don't really feel comfortable, but my basic pace should be okay, but I still make too many mistakes when it comes to the track limits, and in general, I still spin too much. So it is a track that drivers can get easily caught out on, especially those sausage curves at Tamburello. And it's very easy to exceed track limits at Ravazza as well, which will not only compromise the current lap, but the next one as well. So drivers need to be very vigilant when it comes to navigating their way around this Imola racetrack. Now, what to look out for as well in terms of rivalries? Well, in the prospect here is that any of the 3 drivers can be crowned champion this week, as the top 3 are separated by 10. It's going to be quite the night for whoever comes out on top. Surely win and you'll likely be champion, but there are further permutations to fully explain live on the stream, which we'll go on to in a moment. So Fozzie Bear and Josh Wilkins, unsurprisingly, will be going toe-to-toe. Both could still lose out to Fozzie's teammate, Jason, but would take a lot to go wrong for both of these drivers. Josh basically replied, you've often capitalised on any mistakes from your rival, so surely this gives you the best chance of lifting the Champions Trophy. And looking at what Josh has replied to that, He's basically said, the reason being is Alex Lilliard. His consistency and experience has rubbed off on me massively. He said at the start of the season, stay out of all the, a word which I can't use on there, and focus on your own race. Before he said this to me, I'd always be caught up in other people's business on track. I'd lose focus and positions. Now I drive cleanly, leave the space, and be patient. I've also learned that the future is already set in stone, so whether I win or Fozzie wins, I'll be happy with my season 19 performances, knowing I gave it my all. That's very nice of Josh to come out and say that Alex Lilliard's done a great job all season. And just want to find what Fozzie Bear has said in response to it, and he hasn't actually responded to what's been asked of him in the rivalries section. Now, what to look out for in the hot and cold grid, or hot and cold matters. Now, in terms of those who are hot, there are Jamie Metz and Alex Lilliard. Now, could be the most two consistent drivers outside of the title challenges, of course, and were not for a badly timed power cut. Alex would be in with a shout of winning the title this time. You know, had it not been for that power cut they had a couple of times or whatever during the course of the season. Now, in the cold list, we've got Indecisive Mackie, who seems to have forgotten how to finish of late, and will be desperate to recapture his early season form. Well, I can tell you that Indecisive Mackie hasn't had the best of form. He hasn't finished any higher than 11th since the second race of the season in Bahrain, where he finished 8th. So you have to say tonight is a night where Indecisive Mackie can prove himself. And we're underway for qualifying. Well, we're just on the loading screen at the moment, so we've still got a little bit of time before we see some drivers start to set some laps. If you are involved in watching the stream, we do welcome you. Do make sure you follow One Hub Racing's social media platforms, so you can keep up to date with all the action that's happening within this particular league. Now, in regards to permutations for the championship, as soon as I do find them, because there are plenty of ways of which the championship could be decided in the prospects here. Now, Josh, all he needs to do really is to finish above Fozzie Bear and Jason. That would guarantee him it. However, if Fozzie wins and gets the fastest lap, then he needs Jason and Josh to basically finish, well, a certain number of positions behind. So if Fozzie wins, he is champion, basically. I think got my words the other way around, actually, in terms of whoever finishes front wins the championship. But if Fozzie Bear wins the race, he is crowned champion, no matter what. Because he's the one who's the championship favourite. So Josh basically needs to get in front of Fozzie Bear in this race in order to take the title away from him. There are 15 drivers in this session now. We are missing a few. So Inosia, who came in as a late entry, will be looking to end his season on a high. He's not scored a point yet this season. He's only done a few outings. He's only done a couple of outings, actually. One in Austria and the other in the US. He finished 15th last time out in the USA. Now, remember, it's the top 12 that score points in One Hub Racing. 20 points for the winner, 17 for second, 14 for third, right the way down to 1 point for 12th. There is also a point for the driver who sets the fastest lap out of those in the top 10. And then outside the top 10, providing you finish, there's a point for the driver who sets the fastest lap in that particular order of the field. So that could decide the championship as well, because 1 point could make all the difference by the end of today. As Inosia makes his way down the pit straight of Imola. through the Kings, and he breaks for Tamburello. Reprofiled after the infamous events of 1994. And it's the same with the Villeneuve chicane. And then he makes his way out of Tosa and up the hill towards Piratella. Now coming towards Acrominerale. Inosia will be looking to, or Kira I should say. He didn't get the best of drives through there. He's taking too much speed there. That could invalidate his lap time, but remarkably it didn't. So Kier's got a lot of time to find in the remainder of this lap. He's not taking the best of lines. Approaching Ravazza. He needs to improve on his smoothness there. That could have been a very easy invalidation. He's posted a 1:19.8, but we know there's going to be a lot faster times than that. Here is Jason, who's coming round. I think, is that Alex Lilliard who's just moving out of the way? Well, Josh is about to start a flying lap, so we'll stay with Jason, who's one of the 3 championship contenders. 10 points behind his teammate, so he needs every point he can get, really, does Jason. If he can win the race and get the fastest lap, that would mean that Josh Wilkins and Fossibert would need to finish 5th or lower for Jason to be crowned champion. So Jason going to the top with a 1:15.8, Matthias with a 1:16.6 in the Haas. And Matthias posting the fastest time in the middle sector, but not able to go to P1. Set his time, what looks like, on the soft compounds. Buzz is the only one who has set a time on the mediums. And I can tell you that Josh Wilkins is flying throughout the lap. He posted the fastest first sector time of anyone. There's only a personal best in sector 2. He's lost a lot of time in sector 2, in fact, to Jason. So I don't think Josh is going to be on pole for this particular instance. I think his lack of experience in comparison to how Jason has been getting on in preparation for this is beginning to show. Wilkins over the line, and it's a 1:15.9. Misses out by less than a tenth, actually. He did manage to find some time in the last sector. Posted the best third sector time of anyone. Now, Fossibert has had a lap time invalidation. Aiden is out of the session. He's crashed on the exit of Tamburello. So that's his session done. Inosia decides that it's enough for him in qualifying. Fossibert were going for another run. He would have posted a 1:17.7, which would not have been anywhere near Jason and Wilkins. So Fossibert will want to crack on here and get onto the front row and beat Josh Wilkins. That's the guy he's most certainly in the fight with, really. But let's not discount Jason by any means. There's no points for qualifying either. So this is a really important session for Fossibert. Only 2 wins to his name, to Wilkins's 4. 2 non-finishes along the way for Fossibert. At Spa, of course, we had that enormous shunt at Radion when he came together with Indecisive Mackie. And then, of course, behind the safety car at the Red Bull Ring when he and Josh Wilkins came together. He's deleted another lap there, Fossibert, so that's another lap done. We'll go to TJW in the Aston Martin. It's been a tricky season for him as he looks to end the campaign on a high. 13th in the championship standings with 29 points. The best result being 6th a couple of times in round 1 Australia, and the 4th race of the season, which I'm just trying to remember which race it was. It was France at Paul Ricard. So TJW looking for a top 10 finish, or at least try and get in the top 6, if not better. With only 15 cars involved, who knows? It's coming out of Rivatsa now. Keeps his car within the limits of the racetrack. Over the line he comes, and it's a 1:17.0, and he goes 5th fastest. And nearly 1.2 seconds off the pace. Just looking to see who's on a flying lap at the moment. Well, Jamie Met, who's been in good form actually this season. Currently 5th behind Alex Lilliard. He's 6 points behind him here, so if he can finish ahead of him by a few positions here at Imola, he could leapfrog him, but he won't leapfrog him if he exceeds track limits at Piratella like that. Joa in the Mercedes is on a fast lap. His line through the Variante Alta wasn't particularly the best. But he carries on towards the end of this one. Uses the curbs, rides the curbs. And this is going to be the Mercedes driver over the line for 1:17.5, and he goes to P7 with that effort. Jess is coming back out on circuit. She's currently 10th on the 1:19.2 on the mediums. I looked on her social media and she was able to get into the 1:16s on time trial. So she's clearly put in the effort to give her the best chance possible of a good result here today. And by her standards on the mediums, it's not too bad of an effort for her first go in this session. Matthias 4th at the moment on a 1:16.6. But we're still waiting on the likes of Jamie Met and Fozzibert to get a lap in. Jamie Met has exceeded track limits, so we may as well come away from him. Jess has begun a fast lap. She's on the softs this time, so let's see how she does get on here with 9 minutes to go. Okay, she turned in too late. That may have been a glitch, but she's exceeded track limits, in fact, so she may have to we may as well come away from her, I should say. There's Infamous. Did very well last time out at the Circuit of the Americas. He improves his time to 5th fastest on a 1:16.8. Found nearly half a second on that effort to last time, so Infamous in good form here today. Can he end it on a high? He's finished 5th 3 times this season. Once in Bahrain, 5th in Belgium, and 5th in Austin. And is currently 5th in qualifying at Imola. Matthias improving his time to a 1:16.2, but not enough to leapfrog Alex Lilliard. Bazza's on a lap as well in the AlphaTauri, and so is Fozzibert, who's just begun his lap now. So we'll stay with Fozzibert. Let's see how he's getting on through Sector 2. Is he setting a personal best through Sector 2? Yes, he is. It's a 26.5 through Sector 2. It wasn't his best personal best in Sector 1 though, but Sector 2 he was much better through there than last time, 4/10 in fact. So Buzzer on the mediums is most certainly on for a good lap. Well, he was until he exceeded track limits there, so he may as well back out of it. We'll go to Fozzibert, who needs... Oh, he's invalidated his lap time again, so Fozzibert very much in trouble here. He'll go for another run, but all of this is costing him in time. Jess on an improvement through Sector 2, 9/10 up from before, so this is a much better lap time that she's on course to produce here. So through Sector 1, she set a 25.0. In Sector 2, she posted a 26.6. How will she get on in the last sector? Now, the last sector she produced last time was a 26.7. And through Sector 3 alone, it's a 26.1. And she goes up to 8th place with that, leapfrogging Indecisive Mackie. Only a couple of tenths shy of Joa. Now Jason's back out on circuit on another lap. It's not by means representative, so we'll come away from him. Now we'll go back to Fozzibert because he's produced at the moment a 24.5, which is 2.5 tenths slower than his teammate. I think Fozzibert has just wanted to get a decent lap here, to be honest with you. In Sector 2, it's a 25 something, it's a 25.9. And comparing that to Jason, it's nearly 2 tenths slower than him. So I would say that Fozzibear is around about 4.5 tenths off by this stage now. Wants to just keep the car within the track limits, which he does so through Ravazza. Over the line comes Fozzibear, and this will be a 1:16.0. Puts him third, but he's 5 tenths off his teammate. And he's behind Wilkins by a tenth of a second. So Fozzibear will probably back out of this one and get another set of soft tyres on for his last attempt. And we'll go to Jason, who's not on a good lap at the moment. We'll go to Joa, who's on a lap now in the Mercedes. I've just noticed that Storm has opted out of qualifying, so he's not going to be setting the time. It's a 25.4 for Joa, which is his personal best. 600s up from before. So Joa coming towards going through Acqua Minerale. He's 2 tenths down now from before, so he's lost some time in Sector 2 alone here. He's got a Ferrari behind him. Is that Fozzibear who's coming up behind him? It is, but he's not on a fast lap anyway, is Fozzibear. So I don't think Joe is going to be improving on this effort. He may decide to just duck into the pits, and he does so. So Indecisive Mackie is not on a fast lap, but Buzzer is. And nearly 9 tenths up from before. They posted on the medium compounds. So it's a 25.0 in Sector 1, a 26.1 in Sector 2, both being personal bests for the AlphaTauri driver. There's a Red Bull just going through Ravazza and staying out of the way. Buzzer over the line, it's a 1:16.9 and he goes P7. Now at the moment, Jason's fastest by 4 tenths of a second over Wilkins and Fozzibear. Jason's going back on track for a final attempt. There's Alex Ilya out on circuit as well. Matthias has begun a fast lap in the Haas. He's got one of the Red Bulls in front of him. That is Indecisive Mackie, who will want to be moving out of the way here if he can. Unless he might actually be on a fast lap as well, which will be annoying to Matthias. This is a rear view of the Red Bull. Matthias closing in on him, and this is the problem. As Indecisive Mackie decides to get out of the way at last. Matthias will have lost maybe a little bit of time in Sector 2 because they've been stuck in the turbulent air of the Red Bull. Now, will Matthias duck into the pits on this lap? Not too sure. Is he going to have enough time? I'm not sure if there's enough time to get another set of the soft tyres on unless he wants to just go for one last attempt. He improves his time only ever so slightly. He remains in 5th place. And TJW is on a lap. Infamous is on an invalidated lap time. Alex Ilya is a quarter of a second down through Sector 1. So it's 2 Ferraris and 2 Alfa Romeos in the top 4, which is no surprise. And Indecisive Mackie has decided to retire from the session. He wasn't going to have enough time to get round anyway. Alex Ilya exceeds track limits, so he has to back out of this one. Jason not going fast through Sector 1, to be honest with you, so he may as well just back out on this one. Here is Jamie, who's yet to set a time in the McLaren. It's a 24.6 through Sector 1, which is about 3.5 tenths slower than what Jason produced earlier. So we're now into the last minute of qualifying. Jamie's exceeded track limits again, so that'll be him backing out of that one. Jason's about to start his last attempt. We'll go to Fozzie Bear, because he'll be the first one out of those to cross the line at the checkered flag. Now through sector 1, it was a 24.3, which is Fozzie Bear's personal best, but not purple. He's nearly a tenth down from Jason's time. Through sector 2, it's not his personal best through sector 2. It's only a 25.9, which is less than a tenth slower than what he produced before. So it's going to be, I would say, round about 2 tenths faster than before for Fozzie Bear, which would be enough for him to leapfrog Josh Wilkins. So Fozzie Bear exits Bravazza. The checker flag is out now. So this will be Fozzie Bear's last chance to take pole position for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It's not pole position, but he goes up to second. Jason's not on a fast lap. He's made a mistake at Aqua Morale, so it's down to Wilkins then to see if he'll take pole position away from him. That's Joa in front of him as TJW goes fourth in the Aston Martin. Good lap time from him. Now Wilkins is getting held up by Joa as they both come towards the line. This is not what Wilkins needed here, to be honest with you. May get a tow. He goes to second position, so Jason is on pole position for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And no one was going to stop him doing that, as Jamie is going to be the last driver over the line. He's yet to post a lap time at all. Let's see how he finishes his session. And it's a 1:16.1, and he goes up to P6. So Jason would be very happy. He did the best he could. He needed to be on form here today, and he's done so by putting his Ferrari on pole position on team's home territory. The circuit named after the founder and the founder's son, and he'll have done them very, very, very proud. So Jason on pole position then for the final race of the season in the Prospect here with Josh Wilkins alongside. Fozzie Bear in third place, so the championship contenders all in the top 3 on the grid. TJW fourth, excellent effort from him, ahead of Alex Hilliard in fifth in the second Alfa Romeo. That's Jamie Met in sixth place, Matthias seventh, Infamous eighth, Buzzer and Joa completing the top 10. Jess of Mackie miling up on the 6th row. Kia setting a time earlier on and then retiring. Aidan West didn't set a time and neither did Storm. Both of them will start at the back. So 32 laps lie ahead of the drivers who will be crowned champion between Jason, Joss and Fozzie Bear. Find out in a few moments' time, as this race is going to be very, very interesting for sure. Now remember, all the drivers have to do at least 2 pit stops in this one, so not just the one, but they have to pit in twice. So that reduces the sort of risk in choices of what to go for in terms of strategy. So it's likely that we'll see drivers doing the softs, or 2 stints of softs, and then a stint on the medium. So just another reminder of the championship standings. Fozzie Bear on 110 points, Josh Wilkins second on 109, and Jason in third on 100. One of them will be crowned champion. In the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari have a 22-point lead over Alfa Romeo. So Alfa Romeo need to score, at the very minimum, 22 points more than Ferrari to even win it on countback. So they need to ideally see Josh Wilkins win and Alex Hilliard getting up there. If they were to get maximum points, so 21 for first, including the fastest lap, and 17 for second, that would be 38 points. Ferrari would need 20. They would need 16 points or 17 points in order to wrap up the constructors' title here. So we'll run down on the grid and see who is lining up where. So the top 10 all starting on the softs, because that's what they qualified on. All the rest are on mediums. Jason wants to get temperature into those tyres. Hopefully no incidents at the start. I want to see some clean racing in what will be the last Prospect Tier race for at least 4 months, as One Hub will be taking a few months break to give the admins and the people who run One Hub Racing a bit of a break before they resume around the time when the 2022 Formula 1 season does begin in Bahrain. So just another chance to mention our sponsors and partners. Next Level Racing, who sponsor the league by providing an LLR direct drive stand to support the Driver of the Season award. 3M Sim Racing, who sponsor the league by providing a pair of their sim racing gloves to the driver with the most combined total of pole positions and fastest laps. Finally, our partners, Vespertine, who partner One Hub Racing with the championship prizes, to support the championship prizes, and ERT, who support the Going Gets Tough award. So the driver's coming towards Rivatsa now. Jason just backing the field up, so he doesn't have to wait as long on the grid. And Storm taking his time there. Or is that Aiden, actually? That is Aiden, who's taken a huge age, actually, to get himself onto the grid. And I don't know whether he's having controller issues, but he's taken a hell of a long time. Now, Stephen, if you remember, in Singapore, he got a penalty for this, for driver etiquette. You can see Aiden's got going again now, but that took him longer than necessary to do that, so he may have the book thrown at him later. Anyway, all the drivers are here. Just wait for Aiden to slot into position, and we'll be raring to go for the final race of Prospects here in One Hub Racing. 3 drivers, only one can be crowned champion. Will it be Jason, Josh, or Fozzie Bear? The revs rise. The 5 red lights illuminate. When they extinguish, we'll be racing here at Imola. It's lights out and away we go. Jason gets off to an excellent start. Likewise for Fozzie Bear, who pulls alongside Josh Wilkins as they come through the kink and towards the first braking zone of Tamburello. Jason leads. Fozzie Bear down the inside of Josh Wilkins into turn 2, but Wilkins speeds into the barrier. Could that be the end of his race? He's most certainly in the gravel trap, and Fozzie Bear is through to second place, so Jason got the start he wanted there. There was plenty of debris being thrown about, and now we've got a virtual safety car, as Josh Wilkins, I believe, has got damage. There he is, look. Front wing gone from the Alfa Romeo. So he has got a lot of work to do if he is to win the championship. Now remember, he needs to finish in front of Fozzie Bear to have any chance of taking the championship today, and it's gone off to the worst possible start for him. Now Fozzie Bear is through into second place, and even with Jason leading, he would be crowned champion as it stands. Now Alex Elliott is in third place at the minute. I think his car was controlled by the AI at the start, but at least he's kept his car out of trouble nevertheless. So Jason leads from Fozzie Bear in second, Alex Elliott third, Matthias fourth, Jamie fifth, Bazza sixth, Yoa seventh, Infamous eighth, TJW ninth, and Mackie 10th. We're back underway with Jason leading. Remember, there's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the start of the race, I should say. And Fozzie Bear looking very good for the title. Doesn't need to pass Jason. Now, if Jason was to win the race and get the fastest lap, Fozzie Bear would need to finish in fourth position. But 3 drivers in the pit lane. Jamie's one of them. He's gone straight onto the mediums. TJW also picking up damage, and Wilkins also coming in to get that front wing replaced. So Wilkins will be begging for a safety car at this point now. Jason getting off to the perfect start. And Jamie also picking up a time penalty of 5 seconds as well. Now, those who have pitted, that does count as their one of their 2 mandatory pit stops, so they would just need to pit in one more time before this race is over. But Jason looking very, very good at the moment. Alex Hilliard in 3rd place. He'll need to do his teammate a favour here and get ahead of these guys, hold them up, and help his teammate get through. And I think he's made him another mistake, actually, is Wilkins, because he was ahead of TJW when they exited the pit lane, I believe, or maybe not. Either way, the DRS is enabled. Jason still in the lead. Here's Infamous, who's just got past Joa for 6th place as they come into Tamburello. And there's an instant sector 3. It looks like Kira's gone for a spin in the Haas. He'll want to get going again. Doesn't appear to have any damage to his machine. He cannot keep the car pointing the right way. He's carrying too many revs, kicking on too much wheel spin. Now, is he going in the pits? He is, and I think this could be a retirement for him, to be honest with you. So Kia looks as though his race has come to a close. There he is, look, first retirement, and gone after only a couple of laps. So Jason doing all he needs to do. But he'll need to watch his teammate, because he's the man who he's fighting for the title with, remember. Now Matthias, if you remember, qualified on pole position for the British Grand Prix this season in the prospect here. He's exceeded track limits there as well, so I'd imagine they've picked up a warning for that. And he's got the DRS now. And Jamie picks up another time penalty for track limits this time. Matthias, can he go down the inside into Tamburello here? He does so. Alex Hilliard leaves him enough room as Infamous gets past Buzzer. So Infamous up into 5th place. And Buzzer having to slot in behind. Now the highest of those on the medium compound is Indecisive Mackie, who's running in 8th place. Now Aiden, who is yet to score a point in all the races he's done, he's in 9th. And Kira's just come in saying that he had rear ring damage, so thank you for informing me that. But it's the end of what's been a troublesome few races for Kia, as Josh Wilkins posts a new fastest lap. That would give him 1 championship point, which would be nowhere near enough for him to be crowned champion. He needs to get past TJW as soon as he can here. As the leaders come towards Ravazza. And as it stands, Ferrari would also clinch the Constructors' title by a long way and storms out of the race. He's crashed out on the exit of Acqua Minerale, and now we've got a safety car. Now that has come to Josh Wilkins' rescue. He's just got by TJW, I think, just before the safety car, or has he? No, he's just let him back through. Now, what will the leaders do? Well, they've just gone past pit entry. Buzz is in for a change of tyres. Infamous going on to a set of mediums. He's able to keep hold of position ahead of Buzzer. Mackie also in. Another set of mediums going on for him. Jess also going for another set of mediums. Jamie Mert coming in for McLaren. I think he'll be able to serve 5 seconds of his penalty. And there's only 13 cars running left in this race. This is Jamie's 2nd pit stop of the event. So he's now taken his 2 mandatory pit stops after the first 4 laps. So he could go to the end of the race on the hard compound if he wanted to. But he's not going to have as much grip on the restart as those ahead of him. Now, what will the leaders do? Because they've caught up to the safety car. And those who have pitted will be catching up to them. Now, the man who, the highest of all those who have just pitted, Infamous, in 5th place. So Jason And Fozzie now this is bad news for Fozzie in fact, because he's going to have to queue behind his teammate, which will see Alex Lilliart, Matthias, go past him. This is really bad news for Fozzie, it has to be said. So yeah, he's lost around about 5 seconds, I would say, if not more than that. So medium tyres going on for him. Jason rejoins ahead of Alex Lilliart. But where is Josh Wilkins? He's coming down the pit straight now. And I think he's going to get ahead of Jason here. Not quite so, but he is ahead of Matthias and just behind his teammate. So Jason is rejoining 6th place, Josh Wilkins 9th, Fozzie 12th. Now, if it was to remain as it is now, Jason in 6th place, Wilkins 9th, and with a point for the fastest lap, and Fozzie in 12th, Wilkins will be crowned champion. Infamous is the new race leader. Now, he's only pitted the once in this one, so he will need make sure he goes as long as he can before he does come in for the soft compounds. It's just knowing when the time is right to do that. There could be another safety car later on which could come to his aid. The safety car will stay out there for another lap, as Jamie's not caught up to the back of this queue yet. Now, he could go to the end of the race if he wanted to, Jamie, so he's got a great opportunity to win this one. Depends how the rest get on with the restarts. And I think the safety car's pulling in fact. Is it? No, it's not. No, I was just going to say, didn't see a caption on the safety car. No, but Infamous is backs the field up. And the driver outside the top 10 with the fastest lap, that would be Fozzie Bear. As it stands, he would pick up 2 points. Wilkins would pick up a total of 4 points for finishing 9th and the point for the fastest lap. So that's 5. So Wilkins would take the title on 114 points. Fozzie Bear would be 2nd on 112. And Jason, who's currently running in 6th place, would be on 108th. Now the safety car will be going in at the end of this lap. We're on lap 7 out of 32. Infamous knows that he has got a job to be doing. He's not finished any higher than 5th this season. He's got a great chance, though, to get an even better result than that. So for Jason to win the title, if he is to win it, he would need to finish at least, I would say, 4th. Now watch out for Alex Lilliart as well, because he's going to be on the soft compounds. He is on the soft compounds, and he could blast his way through and give Jason a bit of a headache. And Jason now with a time penalty for making contact with TJW, so another twist in the title race. But Infamous is ready to go for the restart. Can he pull clear? He can, and he's timed the restart to perfection. And he's away. On lap 8 here at Imola. And we are watching Jason as he closes in on TJW in the fight for 5th position. Alex Lilliart's got ahead of Aiden in the Alfa Romeo, goes side by side with him into Tamburello, and he's through, no problem. Now Jason's still stuck behind TJW, goes to the inside of Mackie, and Jason makes contact with the Red Bull, so Mackie not quite looking in his mirrors, and Alex Lilliart diving to the inside of the Red Bull, and he's also through, so Alex Lilliart flying on the restart on the soft compound tyres. Jason needs to get past TJW here. It's very crucial, because otherwise he's going to be vulnerable to Alex Lilliart, who's behind him. Joey with a time penalty as well for track limits. And now Jason will want to get past TJW here. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. He runs wide at Variante Alta. That won't help him at all. And now Wilkins gets past Aiden. Fozzie Bear's up to 11th as well, ahead of Jamie Met and Jess. Oh, contact! Wilkins hits Mackie, and they've gone into the gravel trap. So Wilkins into the barrier, he's out of it. So Wilkins is out of the race and out of the running for the championship. And we've got another safety car, and I have to say, that was all Wilkinson's fault for the contact. So Wilkinson's championship charge is over. Absent last time out in Austin and out here at Imola. Now the field have gone past the safety car already, so Infamous will have to go round again and catch up to it. And that also means that Ferrari are crowned the Constructors' Championship because it's impossible for Alfa Romeo to catch them now with one of their cars out of the race. What a disaster for Wilkins. Totally his own fault as well. Too desperate to get in front of Mackie at Ravazza, braked far too late, and just ran into the Red Bull. So it's race over for him and championship over. So it leaves only Jason and Fozzie Bear left in contention. Now at the moment, Jason is in 5th place. That would net him 10 points. Fozzie Bear is in 10th, which would net him 3 points. Plus the one for the fastest lap, I believe. That's correct, yes. So Fozzie Bear would get 4 championship points. Jason would get 10. Now 12 actually, because TJW has come into the pits for the 2nd time. Or is this the 3rd time he's been in? It's the 2nd time he's in. So he's able to take his penalty now, of course. And there's plenty of other drivers in there as well, including Aiden, Mackie and Jess, who have decided to go on to either the hard compound or the medium compound for the last stint. So Jason's going to find himself with too much to do at the moment. Now Fozzie Bear has only pitted once in this race, so he'll have to pit again no matter what. Just 12 cars left in this now, all of which would score points. So that's Wilkinson's 2nd retirement of the season, the 3rd time he hasn't scored, because he missed the race 2 races ago, although that may not count as a non-score, but this is played into Jason's hands and Fozzie Bear's hands as well. Because all Fozzie Bear really needs to do is just keep his car out of trouble. Now Jason's got a time penalty, don't forget. And I'm just thinking, is it best for Jason to go onto a set of another compound of tyres, or is it best to maybe go onto the soft compound for the last stint? It may well be the latter that could decide how this championship is going to be decided. Now, in terms of who is on the hot and cold list so far, on the hot list, I would say Infamous, because he's done well in qualifying to carry on with the form from Austin and get himself up to where he is now. So he's done very, very well as Infamous. And on the cold list, I'm pretty much spoilt for choice in terms of who is on the cold list. I'll probably have to say Wilkins after his calamity, after his start earlier on, and the contact with Mackie and then ending his race on the spot. So I'll put Wilkins in the cold list for today. He had a good chance of winning it, and he knows that. So we were looking at some more pre-race interviews from some of the drivers. I've already spoken to some of the championship contenders. So we'll have a word with one of the other ones who is further down. We'll have a look at what Jess has had to say when she was asked what would her ideal result be this week. She said P12 or higher, but just finishing where would be an achievement to end my season on a high. And to answer the question, it's been a couple of weeks since the previous race. Did the extra week to prepare help or hinder your preparations? And Jess said, I had a nice week off, and that extra week was good to recharge my batteries. I was able to look at my notes on Imola and get familiar with it. Well, the safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap. And Jess is in P12 at the moment, the last of those. Still running, but I'm sure she'll want more than that now, given the nature of how this race has panned out. So Infamous, can he get as good of a restart as he did so last time? We're underway now, but Buzzer is closer. So it's not as comfortable of a restart as last time, but it's still decent enough for now. And we watch Jason. He needs to get in front of Joa here. Into Tamburello they come. Buzzer on the outside of the Red Bull. Contact made between the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri. You don't often hear that. And so Infamous holds off the AlphaTauri for now. But surely Buzzer's going to be on the outside into the Villeneuve chicane. Buzzer gets through, and what a move as well from Buzzer. So he's through into the race lead. What about Jason? Because he wants to get past as well. Infamous and Joa make contact at Tosa. And now Jason will get good drive coming out of Tosa. He's alongside the Mercedes into Piratella. Is that Jason through? No, he doesn't get through there. He needs to get on with it here, does Jason. He cannot afford to be losing any time. He has got that penalty, remember, as well. Joa runs wide. Jason takes advantage of the open gap, and he's through and up into the top three. Fozzibert is in 7th place at the moment, so he's made up a couple of positions at the restart. Jason getting good drive coming out of Variante Alta behind Infamous, so this could give him a chance to get through ahead of him here. Alex gets through on Joa as well for 4th place. He'll be looking to end his season on a high. And Jason will be looking to make a move on Infamous as they cross over the line now. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart, remember. Jason on a charge, getting past the Red Bull as they come towards Tamburello again. And he's through into 2nd position, so very nice move there. Only Buzzer standing in his way, so as it stands, Jason would collect 17 points from this race. Fozzibert, who's running in 7th, would get 6 plus the 1 for the fastest lap. So as it stands, with Jason getting 17 points, Fozzibert collecting only 7, they would be tied on points, and they would also be tied on wins. But on countback, Fozzibert would win it because he's achieved more 2nd places. Buzzer now with a time penalty for track limits, which will be good news for Jason. Now the drivers who need to pit in again are every one of those in the top 7, including Jason and Fozzibert. This championship is shaping up to be one of the closest I've ever seen in league racing. And we've still got another 19 laps to go here at Imola. And the DRS is now enabled, but the next time they'll be using that will be the next time round, because there's only one DRS zone at Imola, and that's on that long pit straight. Now Fozzibert behind Matthias in the battle for 6th place. It's important that he gets by him here, as Alex Elliott gets past Infamous for 3rd position. Leaves him enough room and he goes through. Now is Joa going to get by as well? Alex Elliott holds him up. Joa gets on the inside of Infamous and he's through into 4th place as well. So Infamous beginning to really drop back at the moment here. He's really struggling. Matthias gets through on the inside. Very nice daring manoeuvre there. Fozzibert also getting by, so that's a crucial move there. I wonder if Infamous has got damage, because he's dropping back like a stone at the moment. So Buzzer leading. Jason, don't know if he knows that Fozzibert's up in 6th place, so this is important that he gets by Buzzer now. Now the driver with the fastest lap of the race, on a 1 minute 18, it's now Jason who has that, so that's very important for him. Rear wing open, and this should see Jason breeze past Buzzer and into the lead once again here at Imola. But it's not over yet as Infamous comes into the pits, presumably with front wing damage. That explains things. So he's through, but Joa has dropped down the order into 6th place, and Fozziber is through to 5th. And Jason's out! Would you believe it? Jason has crashed out on the exit Tamburello! And that hands the championship to Fozziber, even before the race is done. So Jason must have caught the curbs coming out of Tamburello seconds after he got by Buzzer, and his mistake confirms that Fozziber is the Season 19 Prospect Tier Champion of One Hub Racing. The safety car has been deployed for the 3rd time, and Fozziber can afford to take it easy. He doesn't even need to finish the race if he doesn't want to, but I'm sure he'll want to go out in style. Well, that was totally unexpected. We didn't see the mistake from Jason, but we know the result of it. His race is over, his championship charge is over, just like with Josh. Fozziber is champion no matter what happens between now and the checkered flag. Well, Buzzer's decided to stay out as Alex comes into the pits for Alfa Romeo. Fozziber doing likewise, as does Joa. TJW stays out, which is no surprise because he's already pitted twice in this one. So he can go to the end of the race if he wants to. So Liliot in, Fozziber in, Joa in, Jamie in for another set of tyres. Jess also in. I would think this is going to be for the mediums, which are going to be put on for her. And this is good news for Infamous now. Now, with him already pitting for the hards, will he decide to maybe jump back onto a set of mediums, maybe? He may decide not to. He's got in front of Jess now, so I think he'll probably just want to go to the checker flag on those, but we'll see. Jess is out on a set of medium size that she's already used, so she's obviously run out of mediums to get to the end of the race on. So it may be best for Infamous actually to just remain on the hards for the remainder of this race now and just keep his car out of trouble, because you never know, because if we get another safety car within the final 10 laps, the field's going to duck into the pits and get a set of softs on, no question. We could see another different winner this season. Now, only Ferrari and Alfa Romeo have tasted victory this season in the Prospect tier. Alex Elliott and Fozziber are running 6th and 7th. And safety car will stay out there for another lap. We're at the halfway point of this race now. And Buzzer thought about ducking into the pits, but decided to do a bit of a dummy. There is Jess, just trailing around at the back, but she'll catch up to the field, no problem. Now, in looking at the driver's press conference and hearing what Jamie Met has had to say in response to how the season has been for him, he's saying it's been a solid season. I had quite an error-prone start to the season, or prone start of the season, I should say. But from Spa onwards, it's been very good. I had a few podiums and top 5 finishes. I'm going to finish in the top 5 of the drivers and 3rd in the constructors, which was what I was hoping for when the season starts. As for tonight, the pressure is off, and I'm looking to have fun. If I can play a spoiler role in the title fight, then I will. Well, it doesn't need to anymore now, because the title has already been decided. And just looking at the damage that Infamous had, it was 23% damage that he had to his front wing, so that explains his drop in pace on the restarts. That made to do with the contact he had with Buzzer. But at least he's back in this now, in 10th place, as the safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap, confirmed by race control. Only 11 cars left how many will actually get to the checker flag. Bassa closing the field up at the moment. We want to give the safety car some space. And Alex has now got a time penalty for a collision with Aiden. He may dispute that afterwards. But we're back on the way for the third time. And TJW will be looking to get past Matthias with the momentum he's supposed to. But ooh, that was very nearly. Both cars going off into the barrier there. I was just looking further behind. Alex into the pits to take his time penalty. I wonder if he may have picked up damage. He did, so that's him into the pits and probably him out of the running for the race victory now. Just goes from bad to worse for Alfa Romeo. And there's Aiden in 5th place. He has got a penalty hanging over him. 5 seconds it is. Fozzie in 6th. And now Matthias has picked up a penalty himself for track limits as Buzzer aims to take victory. And Indecisive Mackey's gone for a spin at Ackerman Arali. I don't know if he's picked up damage. It doesn't look like he has done so. He rejoins in 10th position. Fozzie past Aiden. Jamie's past Joa, so both on a move. Jamie will want to end his season on high. He's got a good chance of getting a podium finish out of this now. It's the field cross over the line to start lap 19, 14 to go. And what's been a dramatic race. Jamie losing time behind Aiden at the moment. He's on the inside as they approach the Villeneuve chicane. And Jamie gets past Aiden, no problem. Joa looking to follow through as well. But he goes into the gravel. And that drops him behind Infamous. And it looks like there was a yellow flag for a brief moment, if that's because of Joa going through the gravel trap. Now, can Infamous get past Aiden here? He's done very well on the restart so far, has Infamous. Now remember, Bazza and Matthias still need to come in for one more pit stop. They'll go onto the soft compound. The amount of time you do lose in the pit lane around here, though, is very substantial. Now Infamous will want to get past Aiden here. Aiden needs to be careful he doesn't move across too late, which he doesn't do. And Matthias has lost connection. So his car will be controlled by the AI for now. DRS has been enabled again. And Infamous will want to get into the slipstream here of Aiden and get past into 6th position. Hopefully we'll see Matthias back in the game. So Buzzer running in the lead at the moment. His best result of the campaign has been a podium at the 7th round of the season. That was Silverstone. And the highest of the premium drivers who are still running. That'll be Jamie Matt, who's running in 5th. And looking very, very good. He does have a penalty hanging over him. That's 8 seconds, so that may cost him a chance of a podium here, to be honest with you. So I have to say, with the positions as they are, TJW is looking very good for the victory, although Fozzie right back in it here. He's in 4th place. And he's past the Aston Martin, I should say. Okay, so to the podium places. But will he keep that by the end? Infamous is in 6th position. We're now on lap 21. Jess running in 9th place as Fuzzybear gets past Matthias, whose car was controlled by the AI for a moment there, but I think he may well be back in play. He's not at the moment. So looking further down the field, Joe is within a second behind Infamous, so he'll be able to use the DRS on the pit straight. And Fozzibear now with a new fastest lap. TJW passing the Haas. So TJW through into 3rd place. So Fozzibear looking very, very good. Bazza will be contemplating when to come into the pit lane to get a set of the soft compound on. And someone's gone off in sector 1. That'll be Jess in the Alpine. I think that's her front wing completely gone. Looking at the TAS, yep, her front wing's completely gone. And this could spell a retirement for her. She needs to get going, because otherwise if she waits too long to get going, the game could disqualify her. Bazza now with another time penalty. That takes the total to 6. Fozzibear does not have any time penalty at all, so he's in prime position to win this one now and close out the season in style. Rear wing open on the Ferrari. And he should go past Bazza without a problem. Very nice move there. And Fozzibear is through, to the delight of the Tifosi, seeing their mum being crowned champion today. Showa through past Infamous. Oh, does he go past? No, he doesn't. Contact made between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. And Joe is off, making contact with the wall there at Tamburello. He's back going again. He's rejoined just ahead of Mackie, who's just gone past him. So Joe is down to 9th place. Jess in the pits for a new nose cone. And I think this is going to be the end of the race for Jess, is it? Or is she going to decide to carry on? Well, Joe is out of the race now, so she may want to rethink that. And it's a virtual safety car deployed. So Joe, after his mistake, has gone into the wall at the Villeneuve chicane. I hope he didn't do that on purpose. But his race is over, and it's only a virtual safety car this time. The safety car has not been upgraded to. Jess is coming back out on a set of soft compound tyres now. Now, will Bazza use this opportunity to pit? I think he's going to have to, because he still needs to pit in at least one more time. Now, Matthias is still yet to come in for his final pit stop. And Aiden's been penalised for speeding under the virtual safety car. So Aiden's going to have to take that within the next 3 laps. And he's speeding in the pit lane. He cannot slow the car down. So Fozzibear continuing to lead out in front. Matthias now second, although his car is controlled by the AI. I don't know if he will get back in, to be honest with you. Jamie's in 3rd. Infamous now 4th. On course for his best result of the season. He's picked up a time penalty now for track limits at Akron Raleigh. Now Buzzer's rejoined on a set of the soft compound. He's got clear track in front of him, so he could go for the fastest lap if he wanted to. But his time penalty is 6 seconds. It's a lot of corners around this Imola racetrack, 19 in total. Matthias into the pit lane now for Haas. Infamous will go through, Buzzer will go through, TJW will go through. And Alex there passing Aiden for 8th place. But there is Fossibert looking very good for victory now. He's lapped the Alpine of Jess. So Matthias' pit stop has dropped into 6th place. Fossibert's lead is now over 8 seconds ahead of Jamie Met. Infamous up to 3rd. He's got a time penalty of 3 seconds. Now if he can get to within 5 seconds of Jamie, that could see him move up to 2nd. But he's spun. Infamous taking too much curb at Acque Minerale. He's spun round, and that's going to allow Bazza to close back in on him. With Bazza having better tyres than the Red Bull, this should be a walk in the park for him. So Bazza posting a new fastest lap, 1 minute 18.6. Until TJW takes that away from him. Now TJW does not have a time penalty to his name, so he could move up a few positions here if he keeps it up in these final 7 laps. Bazza not able to get in front of Infamous still. Bazza to the outside. He's through at last. So Infamous beginning to go back at the moment. He lost 10 seconds at least with that spin. Not got too long to go now in this one. The championship has already been decided. It's either Massey getting a time penalty for track limits. Just 10 cars left in this. They have just joined us in thinking, what on earth has happened to the title contenders? Well, Jason crashed out, as did Josh Wilkins. In fact, Josh Wilkins caused the second safety car. That put him out of the running. And Jason, seconds after he took the lead from Bazza at Tamburello, spun coming out of turn 4 and binned it, which automatically handed Fossibert the World Championship. Now TJW behind Infamous. I think we're going to see a change of position here shortly. TJW are much better rubber than the Red Bull. Infamous knows the situation here. So as they both come through this back straight towards Privatza. And then onto the pit straight. And TJW is very much within striking distance, and he'll go past the Red Bull, no problem here. He's through. Can he go after Bazza? So he holds the fastest up at the moment, as well does TJW. And in terms of the other positions in the standings, if Jamie Met can stay where he is, he would leapfrog Alex Lilliard into 4th place in the championship. And Infamous's 5th position as it stands would see him leapfrog Wace and Smithy into P7. And Buzzer's performance as well, his podium would net him 14 points, which would see him finish above Demon into 10th. Aiden's on course for his first points of the season as well, in 9th position for Williams. TJW posting a new fastest lap, which will help him catch Buzzer. Fozzie Bear, 11 seconds in the lead now over Jamie Met, who's done a terrific job today, despite the problems he has had. The time penalty he has at the moment won't drop him back any positions. Now, Infamous picks up another time penalty, and that's Matthias, whose car is still controlled by the AI. So I'm not sure if the stewards will allow this one, but we'll see what happens post-race. Alex Illiot in 7th, which will be some consolation for Alfa Romeo. McLaren already have 3rd in the Constructors. AlphaTauri have sealed 4th position now because Showa, so Mercedes' sole representative for today, has already crashed out. So Aston Martin, if TJW can keep it up, they may just beat Mercedes, although it's too much of a gap as well. So that will see Aston Martin, as it stands, maybe leapfrogged by Red Bull. There's an instant sector 2, and that'll be Fozzie Bear. So Fozzie Bear has gone for a spin. With 3 laps to go, just gets back through. But Fozzie Bear has just had one of his own errors. That's not cost him the race lead. But Jamie Met will feel that he has a chance, although he has that time penalty. So even if he does get in front of Fozzie Bear, the Ferrari will still come out as the race victor, I should say. Well, a brilliant, brilliant season it has been. A sensational season. And we've still got 2 laps to go. So Fozzie Bear 4.6 seconds in front as he looks to lap Jess again. Now Jess is catching Aiden at the moment. Aiden's time penalty is 3 seconds more. Jess is 8.7 behind him. Unless Aiden makes a mistake somewhere, Jess could get, is pretty much solidifying 10th place. So Fozzie Bear is now on his final lap, and he's about to clinch the championship in style with his 3rd victory of the season, doing so on Ferrari home turf. What a fitting way to round off the season. It's a shame we lost Jason and Josh earlier on in the race, because we felt that they would have been very much giving Fozzie Bear a run for his money, but their mistakes has handed it on a plate to him. But Fozzie Bear has done a terrific job all season in terms of his consistency. He's battling with other drivers. Despite his mistakes and his calamities, he's shown they still had the courage to carry on. Through Ackerman and Raleigh for the last time. Coming towards the Variante Alta. He knows the checker flag is waiting for him. Gravazza to get through. And Fozzie Bear is going to be crowned champion once he crosses over this line. Fozzie Bear for Ferrari in front of Tifosi wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and doing so, he is the Prospect Tier 1 Hub Racing champion of the world. Jamie Met comes home to finish in second place, and it's going to be TJW goes to third because of Bazza's time penalty. So TJW ending his on a high. Bazza will be fourth. And then Matthias in the AI. Haas. Not sure if this is going to count, to be honest with you, but he's in fifth anyway. Infamous will be sixth. Alex Leo will be in a disappointing seventh place. He could have been challenging for the victory today. He's picked up another time penalty as well. He's crossing over the line now in seventh. Mackie will be eighth in the Red Bull. So Red Bull getting both of their cars home in the top 10. Aiden will pick up his first points in One Hub Racing in ninth. Jess a lap down in 10th place. But there's your race winner and the champion, Fozzie Bear for Ferrari. So there they are, coming out onto the podium. Fozzie Bear collecting his winner's trophy. There'll be plenty of celebrations down at the Ferrari garage tonight. They've done the double, the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships, as well as the victory here at Imola. Very, very well done to them. And it's been a season that's ended in style for the champion himself, Fozzie Bear. So here's your race results then. Fozzie Bear winning out and collecting the point for the fastest lap. Jamie Met second, ahead of TJW and Buzzer. Matthias fifth, ahead of Infamous and Alex Lilliart. Mackie, Aiden and Jess were the rest of the finishers. Joa, Jason, Josh Wilkins, Storm and Kia did not make it to the end of the race, especially the likes of Jason and Josh, who really could have done without those mistakes today. They really, really could have done. So the championship's wrapped up, the season's wrapped up. We want to say thank you to our sponsors and partners. We begin with the sponsors. They are Next Level Racing, who sponsor the league by providing an NLR Direct Drive stand to the Driver of the Season award. Freedom Sim Racing, who sponsor the league by providing a pair of their sim racing gloves to the driver with the most combined total of pole positions and fastest laps. The partners being Vespertine, who partner One Hub Racing with the championship prizes, and ERT, who partner the championship with the Going Gets Tough award. Now, for driver of the day, I have to pick two, don't I? With Owen not around. With the results as it is, I mean, first of all, my first driver of the day is going to go to Fozzie Bear for him winning the race and being crowned champion. My question to him was, with it being a roller coaster of a race, did you really expect your championship contenders to slip up in the way they did, and then for you to be crowned champion before the race had even finished? That's my question there for Fozzie Bear. The second driver of the day of award, I'm going to give it to TJW for keeping his car penalty free. Now, my question for TJW is, it's been a rather mixed qualifying session for you. What were you aiming for in the race, and are you very happy with your podium finish? And if so, why? So that's my question for TJW. So, I think other than that, all that leaves for me to say is, thank you very much for watching. It's a shame that Owen couldn't be with me today, but I'm sure he'd been very, very happy to have seen a brilliant, brilliant race and to end the season in the way it has been, with 3 championship contenders going into the last round and giving it their all, really. All I can say is thank you very much for joining us, and look to do it all over again next season in One Hub Racing in 3 to 4 months' time for season 20. And we hope you do tune in as well. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when One Hub Racing returns.